Good evening. Thank you for joining us. New tonight, more than 300 former law enforcement officers in Louisiana lost their mandate to carry a badge.
The WBRZ Investigative Unit obtained the names of those who have had their certifications pulled for various reasons, including 12 from right here in the Baton Rouge area.
Michael, Sylvia, the list, which we got through a public records request, dates back to 2016.
What you see here is a list of more than 300 former law enforcement officers who, for various reasons, have been officially barred from working in the state. The process of decommissioning is governed by the Peace Officer Standards and Training Council under the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement.
The Post Council is a separate entity that was set up in the statute to govern all things peace officer standards and training. So that is a 12-member board. 8 of those being appointed by the governor and 4 of those being ex officio positions.
Of the 330 or so names, 280 had their certifications pulled due to in-service deficiencies, meaning they didn't do their required 20 hours of in-service training.
If they do not complete those hours within the required calendar year, then they are eligible for revocation.
These people are eligible to be reinstated if they apply, which Hill says about half do. However, there are 55 former officers who will never be able to work in law enforcement in the state ever again.
So if somebody does something that is, and I'm not talking about, being late for roll call, but something that is morally reprehensible, that would demolish the trust of the public in that officer, they can take away their ability to work as a police officer anywhere in the state.
Greg Ferries is not on the Post Council, but is a longtime member of law enforcement who praises the decommissioning process as a way to weed out the so-called bad cops.
Civil service system, you've got that person for 30 years, so you better do a good job hiring.
Those 55 people are former officers who have been arrested and or convicted of crimes.
Daily, we monitor all the news stations in the state, all the papers in the state, for any reports of, any peace officers that have been, arrested or anything like that. 12
of them are from the WBRZ viewing area, many of which we've reported on, like former Baton Rouge police officer Jason Acree, convicted of malfeasance for destroying evidence. Or former Iberville Sheriff's Deputy Shaderick Jones, who was found guilty of raping a baby. Former St. Gabriel officer Ronald Monroe was arrested for domestic violence twice, but not prosecuted. Sometimes, even when charges are dropped, the officer's supervisor can apply for them to be decommissioned anyway.
Now, being a part of this list only prohibits employment in law enforcement in the state of Louisiana. Whether that person can get a job in a different state would depend on if that state and its agencies do their own checking.